On this vote, the yeas are 320, the nays are 91. The bill is passed. Without objection, a motion to reconsider is laid on the table.
Shalom, Yashar Allah. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bashim, Yahushai, Bashim, Krakwadash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles at Great Millstone. Peace and salutations to Yehovah like the Akim out there laboring that are pushing this word in truth and in sincerity. This is your brother Amar from the GMS Boise, Idaho camp, coming at you with just a quick news update on these prophecies that are taking place, man. There's so much going on right now that, really, hey, man, you just got to be paying attention because this devil is lining up that checkmate on the prophets, man, by establishing the laws that he has passed, and also more laws that are coming down the line that are going to demonize the prophets, that are going to put them as DTs, domestic, domestic terrorists, man. And the fact that we have to talk like this in the time of so-called freedom of speech, in the time of the most free and enlightened humanity has ever been, and we got to talk like this, man. So this goes to show you that they are lining up the demonization campaign, because a lot of this with these riots that are coming out with college campuses, they're finding out that a lot of these people that are starting the riots are paid agitators, paid people to go into these events and start, causing violence and, throwing stuff, breaking stuff, and then it can be deemed a violent protest, and then the cops can crack down on it, like we have been seeing the videos come out online. But the point being, there was an article that came up, and I should have pulled it up, but you can look it up, that they had arrested a lot of students, in quote, so-called, but they found out later, after the booking and processing, that they were actually not even students at all. The vast majority were, like I said, agitators. So this is Esau just setting up the deception and getting the people's mind frame, to further cause that division. Another thing that the prophets did mention while I was watching GMSLA is that you can see that when these college campuses were going on and the riots that George Floyd was going on and the protests, they didn't go and crack shit down like they did with these Lico Hat riots, and what's going on over there in the so-called Middle East, in the conflicts that are happening, between two countries that we know are the GAZA and the Lico Hats, but ultimately that's going to pull in these other nations. But the fact being that this is now a law here, so now they can, and they just passed a warrantless search of citizens' private information as well. So all this is, and we already know that they've had a red list, a blue list, and a yellow list, of people that are in different categories of threats to the New World Order, as you could say. But there's a quote, I'll read this because I had this in the lesson. For all this time, Americans thought they had freedom of speech. Joke. Until they started criticizing the real ruling party. I know it's a little blanked right there. Got it from my brothers. But this is going back to it. Another quote that made me think about this whole situation going on. And just it made me think, man. Look at all the hell that Jake went through. Look at all the rape, rob, and pillaging and lynching and public mutilation that Jake went through. And we didn't get no protection laws. Jake still suffers those same curses to this day. But remember when the COVID happened, there was anti-Asian discrimination bills passed within weeks because people were looking at, Ling-Lings all sideways, covering their mouth and stuff and, running them off their fucking businesses and stuff, man. And within weeks, they got anti-hate bills. And this, within weeks of this riots going on, they already got laws passed through. You know how long it takes for laws to get passed? And things to happen like that? That means multiple parties in the U.S. government had to make it a priority for them to vote on, because there's so many things that they have to vote on. But the fact that it made it to the priority this quick when we're dealing with record inflation, joblessness running wild, people struggling to find work, companies laying down, housing market crashing, all these things accumulating. And this is what, they decide is the main problem we got to fix. So that makes you think, So I did want to make this quick, but I wanted to get this scripture. This is Isaiah 10:1. Woe, this is destruction unto them that decree unrighteous decrees, because it's unrighteous decree, well, we understand we're in Esau's society, and I don't want to get too deep, but we understand nothing's good is going to come out of this devil. But for the sake of, edification, the facade that they put out there, freedom of speech, and that you got rights and you can do this and you can do that. Well, if you have all these things, which they had to be in place so the prophets can be out, on the streets and teach, freely, but if that's not really freedom of speech, if you can't say what you want, man, I remember seeing this video. It was online. It was a Moabite that was going up to an Edomite. He's like, you got freedom of speech in your country, in China? The Edomite was asking him, and he was like, yeah, I got freedom of speech in China. He's like, what, can you say the N-word on your TV, on your YouTube? He's like, no, man, no, I'm gonna get canceled. He's like, what you talk about freedom of speech, He's like, what you talking about? They're a fucking communist country, So it just goes to show you, man, the asinine thinking, which is like, asinine means like the most stupid, no logical sense. Like, it almost makes you mad to think about it. The fact that the American people think that they got freedom, man. Their income is taxed more than 24%. The dollar has devalued 25% since January 2020. And people barely making it by, man. I was thinking, I was in the grocery store the other day, and I was just looking around and meditating, man. You do not see people walking around like you did when I was growing up with their carts full. Like full, I'm talking to the top, man. And then you have their kids pushing another cart behind them, and then they have stuff in that little basket where the kid goes. Man, you rarely see that. You very rarely see that. And guess what? If you do see it, it's on some crusty ass Edomite on EBT, man. Some fat, a white trailer trash looking shit on EBT with a bunch of fat kids following her, with a bunch of GMO puffs in their cart, man. That's what you usually see. If I see a people with a lot of food, man. You don't see like a normal family, with a bunch of good food, healthy stuff, man. Even me and my house, man, we get like a basket or like those little half carts. But it just goes to show you, man, that all these things that are going on, and they're deciding to vote on these things. So I think I had, no, that's it. I know these next scripture that I'm gonna bring, Revelation 2 and verse 9, and then 3 and 9. We know that this is ultimately talking about Jake, the Israelites that proclaim that they know this truth, proclaim that they do these things. They got the fancy garments, they got the big congregation, they got the fancy buildings, but they're wicked. But also you can apply this to the situation right now that's going with those liquor hats claiming that they're those people. This is Revelation 2 and 9. I know thy works and tribulation and poverty. That doesn't sound like someone who gets millions, or Salakia, billions of dollars sent to their country, their little baby small ass country, and all that money gets circulated throughout their citizens as well, because they all have so-called relatives that took part in, the greatest, catastrophe that ever happened to the world, that happened from 1939 to 1945, and you got to know the history to know what I'm talking about, because it goes to show you we can't even talk about it like this. But this is I know thy works and tribulation and poverty, but thou art rich, and I know the blasphemy of them which say they are Jews and are not, but are the synagogue of Satan, man. We can go into all about the Talmud and the Orthodox circumcision of their babies, man. It's nothing but, synagogue of Satan worship, man. Complete opposite of what Yahweh Bashem Yahushai wants in his holy land. The actual land over there in the so-called Middle East, Jerusalem. This is going back to the top. I know thy works and tribulation and poverty, but thou art rich. How is this apply? This is talking about the Israelites that are in those situations, in poverty. They're in tribulation, man, every day. But we are doing the work, because that's what makes us rich, man. but thou art rich, because all the Israelites ultimately have promise of the kingdom, man. But we understand that the elect are going to get it, you know, that elevated status, as you can say. An elevated status is an understatement, you know. So we have to look into this and you know, use the process of elimination on who these people are. But this is Revelation 3 and 9. I always like to read these two together. Behold, I will make them of the synagogue of Satan, which say they are Jews and are not, but do lie. Behold, I will make them to come and worship before thy feet, and to know that I have loved thee. Ultimately, all the elect, all the Israelites are going to show reverence to the elect, because they're going to be like, damn, you know, we fucked up in Babylon, you know, but also they're not going to come, you know, to worship the elect. But these heathen are going to look at us like gods, man. They're going to realize that, man, you know, we really ain't shit. And the Israelites are gods on earth, man. Are the true ruling power under Yahweh, Yahweh Shai. You know, and that's going to be made manifest in the most clearest of ways here in these coming times ahead, man. Because, hey, man, people getting in that mirth spirit right now, trying to, even though money's been more tight than it's ever been. You know, people, I've seen videos of people making 6 figures saying they're barely getting by, man, because they have all laden themselves with the debt of the American dream. And when things get slow, when the economy gets slow, everything implodes, because everybody lives beyond their means here in Babylon. Everyone wants to show out. Everyone wants to have a new car, a new house, this and that, man. Not worrying, not saving or thinking about, you know, the winter time in the sense of the harvest in winter when you have plenty. You know, you got to think of the winter. And there is a scripture in the Apocrypha that actually says that. It says, you know, in roughly paraphrasing, it says like, in poverty, remember richness, and riches, you know, forget not poverty. Roughly paraphrasing, but it's supposed to show you the mentality that you're supposed to be in when you have excess, and then also when you don't have enough. You know, the Lord answers all these questions, but going back into it, all these problems going on, and this is what they want to talk about. So I want to go full circle on that, you know, and if you didn't know, now you do, that there is actually laws on the books that go against what the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans are preaching on the highways and byways, you know, that are the men of Great Millstone and like-minded affiliated camps that are teaching the 100% correct doctrine, man. That's who they're really worried about. They're not worried about these damn riots and these couple of college kids, so-called, you know, acting out. You know, but Lord willing that this lesson was edifying to the elect. Till next time, say shalom, and I'd like to give all praise, honor, and infinite glory to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim Rachach Wadash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles at Great Millstone. Shalom to the elect, hopeful elect. Till next time.